What's up, guys? Drew here with another one. We got us our special guest today, the first guest that we're gonna bring on the show. We got our man
First in the building. You already know what it is.
and
Arnold.
so today we're just gonna do things a little bit different. So since we got us a special guest on here, we're gonna, usually we'll talk about personal development, spiritual growth, and current events. So today we're just gonna have a conversation. It's let's talk. So without further ado, we're gonna get the show on the road.
If anybody hasn't seen Social Dilemma, I highly recommend you check it out. It's a must watch. Watch it with your family. It's on Netflix. I'm not sure. I think someone said you can even see it on YouTube. They broke it up into parts. Needless to say, Social Dilemma, check it out. So yeah, going back to what I was saying, right? So now we have technology that I feel unfortunately gets this bad rep. Now, if we are able to watch Social Dilemma, then we'll understand the motivation that went into such platforms that create the addictiveness that comes from these platforms, right? Now that was a specific I'm sorry, let me take that back, right? In the beginning, we didn't even understand based upon those developers to what even they were creating, right? And then once they finally got to the point that what was actually happening, then they admitted that they didn't care. They knew what was happening and they still didn't care, right? So understanding that and then understanding where we are because of it, right? Like literally, bro, right? And like we as a people, right? It's just so detached, right? It's a way of explaining it, right? Literally, we're so detached, right? Like, and the part that gets me, right? Even after people watch Social Dilemma, nothing changed, bro. And I'm like, so what does that say to me, right? What does that say to me, right? It's simple, right? How so conveniently, right? See, emotionally, right? We think we have to express, going back to what you just said in terms of social acceptance, right? We feel like if emotionally, whatever the social is, whatever's the is boom, we're just gonna put on boom. That's because we don't want to be an outsider. We don't want to because what comes from it, right? All attention is on me now, right? Because you choose to be the one person who's saying, well, hold on a minute, wait a minute, right? So that conditioning factor is what takes control. And again, it goes back to increasing your awareness, to understanding, to being, in the moment, being present, right? Always, bro, right? Because if you're not, that's a weak emotion. Period, bro. We don't get the conveniency of saying, well, I was, so tired, I was under the. No, that's just a weak emotion. That's an excuse, and those things I don't like. When people say that, I just sit back and like, man, whatever.
In terms of when they're watching it, they're using 5% of their brains, bro.
Right.
So then they're using the conscious mind, which you know how where if I ask you what will you eat, what did you eat yesterday at 12 o'clock? Some people may not know because
Right.
it doesn't really register and it's not something that you're thinking about, right? So when you hear the information, yes, it may be. Look, this guy's over here trying to figure it out. You try to figure it out. He's like trying to think about what he was eating. But
Oh.
yeah, yeah. But what I'm saying is this, right? When you try to use that
Mhm.
and look at things, right? They may hear the information, but because it's not something that you're constantly thinking about, it doesn't register in your mind. So you hear the information and then it goes in one ear and out the other, but they're like, no, I heard it. I'm excited about it. And then tomorrow comes, you don't really think about that. You just go back and, oh, here I am going on Instagram, scrolling, because you're only using a partial part of your brain. That's why I talk about the subconscious mind. So if it got into your subconscious, now it's different because now it's like, oh damn. Because now when I hear a certain thing and I'm like, oh damn, that sounds that sounds very interesting because I'm already going down that avenue. So when you talk about what's it called?
Am I correct? Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
So for me, if I watch that, I will see it and I'm like, it's already backing up what I'm already thinking. So it's it's gonna resonate more with me, but with them, they're like, "Oh, this is new information. Okay, that's cool. I'm addicted to social media," and then you go back to it. You don't think about it; it just goes away unless somebody else brings up another thing, and then you keep seeing it and seeing it. Then it'll start to register in your mind. But outside of that, they'll just go back to the regular programming. You know.
Right.
So until you see that repetition, which is how
Mhm.
you change the programming in your mind, but that's neither here nor there. But that's just my 2 cents on in
Right.
terms of what you said and why they don't necessarily the information doesn't really sit with you.
Resonate. Yeah, yeah, right,
Yeah,
right.
because you'll hear it.
Mm.
And that was a thing that I had before when I was in college, right? Like I would talk to my guidance counselor, right? And he'll talk to me, I'm so motivated. And then after I leave, I realize that how comes I don't have that initial motivation that I got when he was talking to me. Like it just disappeared.
Right,
So and
right.
then it's like I'll go back to him again and it'll come back. So it's only when I'm having that conversation because I'm only using a fraction of my mind to try to focus on it. And in that moment, that emotion is there. And then after that gone, that motivation goes through the door.
Facts.
But the thing was, it's just that my awareness wasn't at the level that it needed to be.
Even when we think about religion within its own entirety, right? Understanding that the religion that we understand and we know today, right? And these are one of the things that when I have conversations with individuals as far as, what is it? So in regards to if we are talking religion, right? What is it? First and foremost, what is your religion, right? You say, oh, I'm a Christian, right? Okay, perfect. Boom, you're a Christian, right? So now as a Christian, right? How does it, so in regards to content, right? So now you felt based upon the amount of content that you was exposed to, you developed this symbolic relationship with the God that is perceived from how he is written about in this book by individuals who essentially was who said that they were who experienced these things firsthand, right, based upon their story, right? So from that you were able to then attach from there the symbolicness from that God, that how he was depicted in the book, right? And now boom, it makes sense to that person, right? So I said, I perfect, and I'm okay. I'm walking with you, right? I get all of that, right? But now I would then say, so we do then understand that the Bible, it's kind of like it's like it's like a book report in a sense, right? So we understand that the Bibles is numerous books, and then somebody essentially made a book about all of these other books, and it references these other books, right? So how is it that now you're going to say that you ultimately are devoted to this particular religion, with knowing for a fact that there are other books that speaks about the religion in its full entirety, right? And it illustrates things about other religions, right? That clearly it's the messaging has been altered, right? So if I was first that a person that thought logic, right, in that sense, right? I understand that there's religion, right? And I know most of the time you can't mix the two, right? Logic and religion, because scientifically you can't, make sense of, well, how is this, how, right? So whatever, right? So in that sense, right? So now logically, right? If I'm going through a process in that sense, right? And I understand that this book is an extension of other books. Oh, well, would I ever get to see these books? Ooh, no. Actually, we don't ever want to even talk about these books. Ooh, that's unforbidden. Why is that? Right? If my preacher, I'm sorry, can't tell me about these other books and actually have the scriptures. You are an entity, you are a church. That is a part of your existence. So that means simply, if you're preaching the name of the of the religion, right? Why not have all of these books to where now the same information that you got is the same information I can get, right? So that part of it is, I just can't understand that. So how could I say I'm going to stand behind something and you're only giving me just 10%? What am I standing behind exactly? So I think, unfortunately, right, and think about how religion said, right? Religion is its own entity, the same way you have, right, our democracy, right? I guess you could say that sits at the very top, right? And then you could see how the other pillars is built next to it, but religion sits very high up there. But what are they, how are they using their influences, right? Literally, right? When you think about, how do we have a class of individuals, right? That's the lower class, even lower than the lower class, the bums, the vagrants, right? How do we have that kind of a society in the existence of religion? How is that even possible? And yes, I'm going there. How is that possible?
Wow.
Well, I think they've divided religion as well. I mean, you have all these different religions, right?
Fact,
You have within just, there's Christians, Pentecostals, Jehovah Witnesses, and then now you've just created a feud between them to have them kind of argue between all that. What religion's better? So that's all people are talking about. It's like, yes, we're talking about God, but then in another sense, well, my religion is better than your religion. Well, how do you know your religion is better than my religion, right? It's just weird conversation that, to me, right? If I'm a Christian, right, and this is how I look at it. If I'm a Christian, I don't care what religion you are, right? Why am I going to look at you and tell you my religion is better than your religion? Just by saying that or thinking that, you're not understanding what you're reading, in my opinion.
facts.
That's not that should never be the case. If you're attaching yourself to, yes, I'm spiritual, but I'm not going to sit here and say I'm part of I'm a Catholic, I'm a Christian, because to me what that does is I'm just signing up again. I'm part of another group. What are we doing here now? What's the benefit of that? I'm not benefiting. Nobody benefits from that. It
And
just keeps us all in different buckets, because they know if we were all in one bucket, what will happen? Just another way to keep us all divided.
facts, right? And I think, to your point, right, is if you continue to keep uneducating people about stuff that they should be educated on. So, and that's the truth, right? Again, the only thing I would pose, and again, leave a comment. Please educate your brother, educate life first, right? I'm trying to understand this, right? Because it's like, if this is a fact, right? That the Bible essentially is not the full content of all of the other books that is in existence, that speaks in depth in terms of the origin of the religion, in terms of following that, right? This is facts, right? So again, right, I'm open to anybody to debate me on that matter, right?
Well, I mean, it's written like, if I'm I'm following you and these things are happening, and I'm writing down what I experienced with you, right? That's a perspective it's written in, right? Because
Yep.
God didn't write it, right? You have his disciples that were there that write it on because they were there.
Facts.
Yeah.
But then I think of it like this. This is funny.
Go ahead, say.
Have you ever experienced something with somebody and then told a story about it? And how that story go?
Yeah.
So I mean, this is years and years of this, right? We don't know exactly the original what happened. These are stories that told down from stories and stories.
Or I'll give you one better. Somebody you heard, like, say me and you and O's in a spot, right? He told the story to you, and I heard him tell it, right? Now, when he goes to tell it to somebody else, he add on that, oh, I opened the door, I did something a little different so it can sound more appealing. Now, think about that for a second. So by the time it even got to us right now, how do we even know?
It's funny, and they said too, right, when through like the slavery time, they kind of out of that, we got religion, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, yeah, they took the diamonds, they went to Africa, took all these diamonds, and just left us. Here's a book, and gave us religion, right? Yeah. and it's very interesting how that works, right? And I understand that religion does serve a purpose, right? And I get that, and I agree with that. It does serve a purpose. Um, but I think again, it really does pull people apart as much as it pulls people together. My personal opinion.
Yeah, because in
Because I have
terms of
people that are religious, right? That the conversations, if you're telling me about another religion and how this religion is not the right religion, then I don't feel like your religion is the right religion either. Because you're not being taught the things that I think you should be taught, right? Because you shouldn't say that. Those words should never come out of your mouth. If you're a part of any
Facts.
religious group,
Facts.
you should never look at
Facts.
somebody and say your religion's not what it is. Oh,
Facts.
my religion's
Facts.
better, or this is that.
Facts.
Doing good is doing good, regardless, right? I don't have to be a Christian, a Catholic, a Jehovah Witness to be a good person.
Let's
But
go.
religious people, I feel, put that on there. You have to be part of that to that. And again, being, we're already black men. Boom, now we have this religion piece that gets floated around that we have to be a part of and attach ourselves to something. And I feel like it comes from our parents too. Our parents will say, well, we're this, and that's that.
And that's the thing. A lot of the religion it's given to you. It's not like you really necessarily let me hear my other choices. It's this is it, and that's it. That's it.
You just get put right on that. Boom, we're Catholics. We're Catholics in this house. I don't want to hear about nothing else. You're like, oh shit, okay.
All right. You can't and you can't ask no questions about nothing, by the way.
Now, don't get me wrong. What's very interesting is like Jewish people, right? They're very like if their religion, if you can't marry outside of religion, it's you have to find a Jewish husband and be part of and I don't know all the details, so don't quote me on all this. All right, but it's very interesting how they keep things. You don't hear about, and I could be wrong. I don't know if there's 2 or 3 different kind of sections within the Jewish religion. I don't believe so, based on my information that I see. It's only one Jewish religion, right? It's just one thing.
Wow, and right, just to throw it out there, YouTube, we got a guest on the show right now. We didn't hit him with the full disclosure. The one thing we can't mention is the Jews, right? So we are sorry, YouTube. We didn't need to offend you.
Right.
Please don't Nick Cannon us or whatever, right? Don't do it like that, YouTube.
Just edit that whole thing out, Drew.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah,
because I heard it too, bro. I heard it. I'm like, as I'm listening, I'm editing in my head.
Okay.
So what I mean? I'm listening and editing at the same time. So I was like,
we'll just take that out.
Yeah, no, it's fine. But it's a great point. But
whoa, hold on, guys. You guys were taking me literal just now when I just said that.
I don't know what the hell you're doing, bro. But you can take it.
You guys really taking me literal? I'm fucking. Listen. Wait a minute, guys. First and foremost, I was just being sarcastic just now when I said that. Listen, this is our platform. We're only here for the truth. So at the end of the day, if it offends you, then guess what? I guess it might be the truth.
Well, I mean, I didn't say anything crazy.
No. But you didn't. But I was just joking. That whole thing was just a little joke just now.
No. The reason why I even said that is because it came out personally for me. It didn't come factual, and I like to speak from.
No. Well, no, and I respect that. I respect that correction.
Yeah, that's really why I said that is because. I do want to look into that because that's a very interesting thing is because if you look at in the Black community, all these different religions, right? And I'm curious to now really understand in different communities, right? In the Jewish culture, how many is there one or is there a branch of it?
Right.
That's interesting to kind of dig deep into that as well because kind of follow my other point with division, right? Because that's a way to keep us again divided, right? Because if there was one quote unquote Black religion, right? Let's just say that, right? It'll be way stronger than having 7 or 8 of them.
So to build off of your point, right? So I think for me, if we understand that there are actually books that's out there that you have certain religious entities that has information even to explain our existence,
Mm.
And the fact as a people that we are not demanding that we see that, right? Again, I think that when we talk about what came first, the chicken or the egg, right? Yes, the things that we talk about as far as how that might be an extension of that, right? It's extremely relevant within itself, right? But I think it always goes back to that point in terms of educating yourself. How else are we even going to know what the heck we're even talking about or what to even look for if we don't even know what the heck we're talking about, even what we're looking for, right? Because then now we're now having to base that off of, hey, did you hear about this? At the end of the day, that to me, that's just a weak emotion. As men, you should feel if there's another brother next to you, right, who is informed and you don't know about that, you should ask yourself why, right? What are you doing with your life, right? And now you sit back and as opposed to educating yourself, you're like, I'm just gonna go on this brother's page and just now, as opposed to having my developing my own opinions through me doing my own research. Now I'm just going to regurgitate other things that I picked up from here or picked up from there, right? That's not what this platform is about. This is about educating yourself, right, to increase your awareness, right? Not to just come on here and think like, oh yeah, these guys got it figured out, and I'm just going to act like I learned something and run back and just go, oh yeah, now I feel good. Like, no, you're going to come here to feel empowered and feel good about yourself, but it's all about educating yourself. Don't take out what we're saying at face value. No, do your own research on it. You know what I mean? So, that's just my take on that, man. I think, unfortunately, yeah, we could easily get preoccupied again with talking about things without, it's like, yeah, that's those are steps here, but we haven't even hit the nail in the head. We got these books again that is in circulation. It's here. And yet still, if you go to your place of worship and you ask them, so I'm hearing about these books, man, that really kind of goes a little bit further and talking about, all of this. How come we don't ever talk about that? We done hit this Bible back and forth how many times and we ain't talk about none of this other stuff? What? Like I'm sitting here, like how can you know that exists and not even understand that and not even be curious? It's like you see that box with the button, right? And you're like, oh, I just want to push it. How can you not feel that same, right? But you connected with this God, right? And I'm not attacking, don't get all sensitive in the brother now, right? But all I'm saying is that don't you want even a stronger connection? That's all I'm saying, right? Don't you want to be forget a FaceTime right here with God? Like, come on,
Yeah.
people, man.
Yeah, I hear you, bro. But that's the thing too. You gotta understand something. A lot of people that are in these religions, they don't even do no research. They don't go back. They don't the fact that you even said that, a lot of people don't even know about that. So you can't ask a question that you don't know about, bro. So they just take it as face value. It's like, this is the book. This is the only book we got. I don't know about extra chapters, much less another whole book. Or there's parts that are missing. We give you what we think that is going to be a part of our agenda. You know what I mean? That aligns with the message that we're trying to push. So I get you. I feel like if a lot more people knew that, then that reaction that you just expressed right now would come about. Hmm?
Right. Yeah.
I think as well, people are they feel okay about not knowing, because if you don't know, then you don't have to you don't have to do anything about it, right? It's some people it's like, well, I never knew, but you never looked into it. But some people like to kind of stay on that level because it makes their life easier, right? If you're like, I get up, go to work, pay my bills, my family's good, I don't really care. You don't gotta look into it. They don't want to look into stuff like that, because then when you start the more you know, then the more action you have to take, because now you know the information, right? You're not ignorant anymore. You understand. Like even when you guys was talking about that movie, when you're talking about that movie,
Doctor
The
Strange.
Dilemma, not The Dilemma. What am I saying?
Oh,
Social Dilemma,
also,
right? I really feel like people will watch that movie and really understand the material, but they're not ready. It's kind of like it's like losing weight, right? You got to be ready for that. If you're not mentally ready to go on that journey or take in this information and really make a difference, you're not going to do it. You're just going to watch it and say, "Oh wow, okay, that's crazy," and move forward, because no one's ready to change, man. They've already locked us in these things so hard and heavy. And we've put every aspect of our life in this that it's so difficult, right, to even put this down. But you have to be ready to do that. And that comes with a lot for people, right? It might not come for, some people don't even have a smartphone. And when they say that, people look at them like they're funny, like they're weird. All of a sudden you're the weird guy because you don't got a smartphone. Because that's not, like you were saying earlier, normal. Right. But I feel like we just have to be careful, even with saying those things, like, right. And, oh, that's not normal, or, oh, why you did that, or this, people I feel like are going to do things that are going to be beneficial for them, and not having certain things and having certain things, is.
No, not at all, man. It's relevant. This is, that's
it's
cool.
Like my
relevant.
lighting's off, so now I'm all messed up.
Hey, man, you good? You good?
Yeah.
Granted, so it seems like we're getting to that point to wrap it up again.
Yeah, we could.
Right, to our special guest again, I just want to say thank you very much, for coming on the show. Your presence, was definitely felt, right? To our community, right? If you guys, we'd love to hear from you guys in regards to what you thought about our special guest being here in the show. If you guys want him to come up again, right? Show, express that, right? And leave some comments, right? Let us know, man, what you think about the show. Now, in closing, right? I actually wrote something that, a message that I guess I wanted to, to share, right? In closing, right? So seems like we're about to wrap it up. So I'm gonna just share this message real quick. So pretty much, this was something that this kid, how I felt, all right? So, and it pretty much goes like this. So while we sit here and speculate, right? Now, this is the irony, right? On what religion is truly, on what religion is the one who truly represents the Most High. So in regards to how I in terms of a spiritual form, in terms of religion, right? So I, look at it as in terms of it being the Most High, right? So not the traditional sense of a God, right? In that sense, but as far as, my spiritual connection with the Most High. So in that context, right? So,
Started from the top, bro.
Right. So pretty much it goes to say, while we sit here and speculate on what religion is the one who truly represents the Most High, Black people, pay attention to who continues to suffer. You see, we must understand that, and yes, I'm going to go there, Black people, even before religion, we are humans. Yes, we are. If you guys have forgotten, we are humans first. Please look. Please just take a moment and look at how they are treating us. Meaning, if you're silent, you're then considered the they. Right? If you feel as though, based upon how this exchange in terms of how it has worked out for you, right, and in your silence because you don't want to, mess up the status quo in that sense, right? I'm talking to you too, right? So in your silence, you're complicit. So I'm speaking to you right now, right? So so please just look. Please just take a moment and look at how they are treating us. They don't want us, period. And that's just a fact, right? You guys play with our emotions to make it seem, and Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. Look, what do you mean? We have the NBA. What do you mean? We have all of these Black entertainers, right? What do you mean, right? We support, right? We put Black lives on the basketball court, right? Because we understand and we support you guys, right? So yeah. So so this is not hard, people. If you truly wanted change, then no democracy should ever be big enough to stand in your way. And that's all I got. Simple as that. I speak from my heart when I say that, because I genuinely believe that as a people, as Black people, the time is now. The time has always been now for us to understand that as a people, we haven't for the past 400 plus years been in a position to where we manage ourselves, meaning that everything we create and then it comes trickle down effect, right? As in terms of the control, right? So at the end of the day, I'm sympathetic for my, for my people in that extent, because I understand these conditions that we're in is not a product of the lack of who we truly are as a people, right? So that's why when I hear how we talk about ourselves, I always have to think of it, from not the perspective of how social media, talks of us, but from a perspective of how we actually live amongst one another, right? And that's just, how I feel about, about that. And that's what I got. Again, life first, we out.
I want to thank y'all for watching. I want to thank Arnold for coming on here and giving his 2 cents. So make sure you like, subscribe, share this video, and it's drop some comments down there if you want Arnold to come back, because we would love to have him back. And
Right.
without further ado, thanks
All
for
right, guys.
watching.
Thanks a lot. All right.
Yeah.